Thank you, and thank you, Governor, for bringing us together, for your leadership, and Mayor Brown for hosting us and for your leadership too. So my role is overseeing the insurance industry in our state and ensuring that Washington consumers are protected. Since the governor declared a state of emergency last weekend, I have issued 2 emergency orders to help protect policyholders impacted by the fires. The first requires insurers to grant premium grace periods for policyholders impacted by the fires and prohibits them from canceling them if they can't pay the premium. The second one orders health insurers to allow people on early prescription refill, grants a grace period for paying premiums, and protects people from being canceled if they can't pay their health insurance premium. I also asked the insurers to bring their response teams to Spokane to help expedite payments and speed up recovery. And they answered that call within a couple of days. And last week we had 14 insurance companies on site at the Disaster Assistance Center, along with team members from my office assisting people with their claims. And I'm very grateful for the insurance industry's response and for their willingness to show up quickly. As for us, we brought our teams of insurance experts to help people navigate their insurance and the claims process. Our consumer hotline is also available 5 days a week, and you can chat with our insurance experts online and file complaints if needed. I want all wildfire survivors to see our office as a resource. We will continue to support you and provide help during the recovery process. We are working on setting up some workshops here to help policyholders understand every step of the claims process, and we'll share more information about those workshops in the coming days. And going forward, we're going to continue pushing our policy options in the legislature that help people fortify their homes against wildfire damage and to increase the information you get from your insurer about your wildfire risk. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Treasurer Mike Pellicciotti.
Well, thank you, Commissioner Kuderer. Obviously, thank you to the governor for bringing us together and for all your leadership. And obviously, thank you to the mayor as well. But a particular appreciation, obviously, to our first responders and to the Red Cross officials who I actually had a chance to meet with earlier this morning. I think it's probably fair to say among the statewide elected officials, there probably are few, if any, that have a closer personal connection to the city of Spokane than I do. I went to Gonzaga. My mother lives in the Indian Trails neighborhood, and so this is a particularly personal impact that I've had, families had, but also a particular appreciation that I have for the people here in Spokane. My mom was one of the first people to evacuate when the fire was coming through the Indian Trails neighborhood. I really appreciate the coordinated effort by the first responders who, in a rather miraculous way, allowed everyone to evacuate efficiently from that area. But I also have a unique appreciation for the stress that's been put on families over the last little more than a week. And I know what it was like watching the Watch app as information was being provided, the containment of the fires that was being dealt with by the first responders. And obviously, my mom's neighbors and friends who've lost houses over the last week. And so I have some sense of the anxiety that they have been feeling and continue to feel as they have to navigate the challenges that now are the next phase, as we were hearing from the general, to be able to move forward as a community. So, as state treasurer, I've been meeting with emergency officials, starting to get a better understanding of the federal funding flows and other aspects to make sure we keep money flowing in and around our state related to this. But I particularly appreciate, as we address these issues, especially flow of money between government, appreciate Commissioner Kuderer's work on behalf of individuals and related to insurance claims for individual funds that are taking place. But there is obviously a lot of work to do. And again, particular appreciation for the governor of the really effective coordination of all statewide elected officials and other officials here in our state to make sure that the needs of Spokane are being met and we can continue to move forward as a state and as a community. Thank you. I'll turn over to Commissioner Upthegrove.
Good afternoon. My name is Dave Upthegrove. I have the pleasure of serving as Washington State's elected Commissioner of Public Lands, where I lead 2,200 mission-driven employees at the State Department of Natural Resources, the agency tasked with leading wildfire suppression efforts. And it's been well said already that what this community has gone through has been heartbreaking, but the response from first responders, firefighters, community members has been extraordinary. And Mayor Brown, you're not only Spokane's mayor, you're Washington's mayor right now. And I've especially been impressed and really pleased to work alongside a governor who is, I have seen the sincere personal passion for helping folks in this community, and your leadership in pulling everyone together has been invaluable. I was at Incident Command again this morning, and we're making significant progress in getting these fires out around Spokane. Just a few days ago, firefighters were chasing fast-moving fires. But today, the work is increasingly shifted to securing the perimeter and methodically finding and extinguishing those hot spots. There are a lot of hazards still. It's very dangerous, and there's a lot of work still left to do. But the fact that even during difficult wind events this weekend, the fire didn't grow is a sign of the progress that's being made. I've said throughout this crisis, preparation doesn't prevent every disaster, but it changes the outcome. Long before smoke appeared in the air above Spokane, people were preparing for a wildfire season we knew could have challenges. We were pre-positioning equipment and resources, entering into mutual aid agreements, training up National Guard troops before we even knew we needed them, engaging in forest health and fuels reduction work, and working with homeowners and communities to build more resilient landscapes. None of that can prevent every loss, but we're seeing here in Spokane that those investments matter. As the immediate fire threat recedes, DNR's role changes, but it doesn't end. The broader work of helping families and communities rebuild increasingly shifts to emergency management, local, state, and federal partners. DNR's focus moves towards rebuilding the lands. That's assessing erosion, flood risks, landslide risks, impacts to watersheds, and determining what the landscape needs to recover. And we will be here for the long haul. Washington is in the middle of an extraordinary fire season. As we stand here this morning, there are 21 large fires burning over 539,000 acres. And we're continuing to see new fires emerge, including a significant fire near Mount Rainier. All told, over 700,000 acres have burned in Washington state, and we're only halfway through this fire season. We have a long way to go. That's why I need your help. Don't be the spark that starts the next fire. Please follow the burn bans. Please be extra careful with anything that could cause a spark. We've asked a lot of our firefighters this summer, and one thing every one of us can do for them is to help make sure they don't have to fight another fire. They're doing their part. Now it's time for us to do ours. Thank you.